What is going on, man?
What's going on, man? It's nice to meet you virtually here.
Nice to meet you,
Thomas Hunter.
Thomas Hunter.
Pleasure to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you too. So I'm like a mess right now. Let me put clothes on.
It's all good, man. I liked your what do you call that? Is that like a shawl or?
Yeah, a blanket.
Oh, it's a blanket. Trying to get all complicated. It's a fucking blanket.
It's a blanket, man. Oh, well, let me just do this.
Yeah, man. Take your time.
All right, dude. Thanks for having me, man. This is so
of course, man.
Fun. I was about to hold I had some people come drop some stuff by, and I was gonna I felt like I was about to hold them hostage. I'm like, yo, you furniture mover dudes want to have a conversation with me?
Yeah. Welcome to the Hell Fucking Yeah podcast, man. Yeah, it's these days, any human interaction is welcomed, right?
I love it, man. I mean, that's one thing. It's so beautiful about this whole thing is I've always been kind of an isolator, and I've always liked to be alone a lot.
Yeah.
And I am just realizing how much I need people, how much I love that, a connection with another person.
Absolutely, man. I'm the same way in a way. It's I've kind of been home since March. I mean, I've gone out, but to get things and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm the same way. I like to be alone until I'm alone.
yeah, for sure. I mean, it's good. There's I think there's a sorry, let me turn this off. I think there's a lot. There's a line that between spending quality time with myself and getting stuff done, and then isolating myself.
Sure.
And which is they look very similar, but they one's more damaging than the other or something.
Right. I get what you're saying. So where are you living?
I live in Los Angeles.
Are you guys being shut down again, or is it already?
Dude, happening? I have no idea. I'm
I don't even know.
I heard, I heard that they were gonna do some curfews and stuff, but
mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I'm a little unplugged from all that because I just not that I'm purposely not being trying not to be informed, but I just feel that too much information doesn't really make my life better.
I agree.
It makes it worse.
Yep.
So I kind of unplug. I heard something about they were going to do a curfew, but I'm I guess I'm not a politician, but I don't really understand how does the virus not go out after 10? I don't really understand what the whole vibe is. So
yeah. And
we'll
everyone should be safe, obviously, and cautious, but there are some rules and regulations that are just absurd, I
wear a mask in the grocery store. I'm not going to be a dick.
Right, of course.
Just because I'm not unhealthy and immunocompromised doesn't mean that I'm just going to go out and flex and be a dick. But I don't know, man. I mean, we don't need to get super into the whole virus thing. I'm sure that's everybody talks about, but it's crazy out here, man.
It really is crazy. I mean, I don't know how it is in California, but here in New York, they put so there's restaurants, and they take a tent and put pretty much the restaurant outside.
Yeah, they've been doing that here too. Yeah.
So I understand why they do it, because they can still fill a lot more seats that way, and because they have to spread everybody out inside. But when you really think about it, it's all right, so I'm still inside around people.
Yeah.
Some of the rules are crazy, but I guess we got to do what we got to do. But yeah, we don't have to get into all that crazy shit.
It is.
How's the weather? How's the weather over there? Because
it's beautiful, man.
Yeah, I'm jealous, man. It's so fucking cold here.
It's I think it's 87 degrees or something. And I'm about ready to go on a run. I love it, dude.
Let me tell you this. Winter in New York sucks.
I know, man.
I'm in a garage. This is just a mirage behind me.
Yeah.
Behind this is a lawnmower and some tools.
Cool, man. Do they work?
It's cool. They work.
The lawnmower, it's got gas in it.
It works. Yeah, I don't use it often.
Right.
But my point is that I'm freezing. It's probably I have a heater next to me, and the thermostat says 50. That's probably about right.
Oh, I hate that, dude. I hate
50.
that for you.
Yeah, and I put it on 97 because that's the highest it goes, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's never gonna fight the cold in here. So
No, man, I feel you, man. That's
yeah,
why I live in LA. Like I grew
yeah.
up in really cold places. I'm from Alaska, so it's
Oh
like
wow.
I grew up in, and my dad is a journeyman lineman, so we like, and that's like crazy work up there. So we moved around a lot, and it's like I was born in Anchorage, and then we lived in like kind of fair. We kind of like lived. We just kind of lived around, and then at the very end, before we moved down to the lower 48, we lived on this like motor sailor, like this big sailboat in like, we went to like all the different fishing villages that my father would work at, like Cordova, Saldovia, Petersburg, and it's literally like 60 below zero in some of those places.
Wow.
It's crazy, dude. And I'm just like, and then I lived in Seattle for like my whole kind of young adult life, and my folks live in Portland and just a lot of Northwest. So I'm like, I'm done with rain.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't give a fuck if we're in a drought. Like whatever, like you guys get rained on. Like I've had enough.
Yeah.
Like I've had enough cold. I've had enough rain. Like I want it to be Thanksgiving and I want to be outside with no shirt on.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like I don't like wearing clothes that much. Like I wasn't built to be an Alaskan person. You know?
Yep. Yep. I agree. It's cold here most of the year. I mean, the summer obviously is hot, like 89 degrees, but it's so short. It's like a couple months, and then the rest of the year is just fucking.
Yeah. Where are you at? Where are you at in
Long Island.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like about an hour and a half outside of New York City. So let's get into some.
We used to have some family out there. I loved it.
Yeah. Oh, out on Long Island.
Yeah, well, I used to have some family out there from my first failed marriage. Beautiful people. They lived like Long Beach.
Okay. Yeah.
I loved it out, man. I got some of the worst sunburns of my life out there on that beach.
Yeah,
I remember like we were playing a show in Brooklyn, and I went out to visit them because I hadn't seen them in a little bit, and Cadence, my ex-wife's, I guess her brother's wife, took me to the beach, and I hadn't seen the sun in a while because I've been living in Seattle, and I don't know what my deal was, but I was like, we were like sitting on the beach, and she had this like bag of sunscreen, like kinds, like spray on, you know, like whatever lotion you want some, and I was like, and right before we played, this kid came. It was crazy. He was Manuel Noriega's grandson, and he was a huge fan of our band, and he showed up and he was like, I brought these mushrooms from Panama. And I was like, yo, let me have them. So I ate like before the show started, and I was playing in two bands that night, the opening and also the headliner, and like I ate them before we played, or I ate them during the first band set. Wow. Like on stage, and they kicked in really hard, and I remember being like, the whole second set was with this guy named Damian Gerardo. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's one of my favorite guys to play with, and I was playing all just slide guitar, and I remember like tripping so hard, and my skin was like flaking off, like I was like the worst, like life-changing sunburn, and like looking down, and like my slide looked like it was like 10 feet from my fretboard, like I couldn't. And I just went through this whole thing on stage where I'm like, I'm blowing it. Like I must be playing so horrible, which I guess I didn't, but I thought I did. But I was like focusing so hard, and I was just like, this is gonna sound stupid, but at the time I was just like, dude, like this is the sensation of being alive, like the suffering, like this, like, and I was like, had this like weird gratitude for how uncomfortable I was, like in front of this room full of people.
Wow.
But anyways, that's my Long Island sunburn. And then it came off. And then it came off in like, this is so fucking gross, dude. For the next week, like in the van, like we'd be driving around, and I would like rip my skin off and make it into balls and like throw it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wow, they called me skin ball for like a year.
That sounds like a pretty bad fucking burn.
Dude, it was pretty fucked up.
Did you get to ever hear that recording by any chance? Like, was it recorded?
It was not recorded, I don't think. Although there was a lot of footage of that tour, mm-hmm. And the band was so killing. I mean, it was this band that I was in called KK and His Weathered Underground, and it was me and uh, this guy named Kirk, and then this guy named Phil Peterson, and Kirk was the lead singer, and he was in a bunch of bands with us, like coming up through the emos. He was in Gatsby's American Dream. I don't know if you remember them. Yeah. And then Kyle, the keyboard player, is in that band Portugal the Man. And anyways, everybody's doing stuff now, but we had this really cool band together, and it was like, and we got used as backing band a lot because we had like horns and strings and stuff. And this one guy, Secret Weapon, named Jacob Hoffman, who's in the Brandy Carlisle band now. He played like French horn and bass and key, whatever the fuck you needed. He's like the best singer in the world. And so the band was really good at that time, and we were all just eating so many psychedelics.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, we were young. We were like, I was probably like 23 or 4 or something, and like we were all absolute nightmares. Just everywhere we went, just like the van was just puffing with weed smoke, and like I don't know how we didn't get arrested. I almost got arrested a couple of times.
So just a quick mention, actually, for those who may not know, Thomas is singer-songwriter, guitarist, writer, and producer for so many projects, too many to list, but we're going to get to most of it today. So I wanted to get into White China Gold.
Oh, cool.
Dude, I'm currently obsessed with this, by the way.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
man.
like for real.
Thanks, dude.
I downloaded one, well, it's a long story, but I'll tell you later. I downloaded the first album like a few weeks ago, and I've been listening to it since. I didn't even know there was a second one until today.
Oh, nice.
because of the way it's listed on iTunes, and I'm going to show you the picture later of how it's listed.
Yeah, I know it's weird, right? Yeah, I tried to hit them up about it. Got like it's a long story. It's you know it's dumb admin shit, and I'm like so bad at the internet. Like I just like it just got, well, one of them was up, and the first one was up, and then it got pulled down, so I had to like re-release it, and then I didn't have the original artwork or something, and they wouldn't let it go back up. It was a nightmare. It's been a nightmare. But anyways, they're up there now.
They're both up there. And I found, I'm watching these videos on YouTube, and I'm like, wait, why aren't these songs on the first release? Like, Rough Sweat.
Yeah.
And A Good Woman and stuff like that. Like, dude, those songs, holy shit. That video for Rough Sweat is amazing.
It's crazy, right?
It's amazing.
Yeah, my friend Miles did it, man. This guy Miles Santo, he's this Australian kid that should by no means be behind the camera. He's like one of those guys that like most of his friends are like, if they had to choose, most of his straight friends, if they had to choose one guy to go gay for, it'd be him. He like should be in front of the camera.
Right.
But he's a genius, and he just like, he had this idea for this video, and I was like, dude, do it. And I was on tour with the Heavy at the time, so I actually had to be out of town. And that's why Max Carver, that actor Max Carver, played like what I was supposed to play, which I'm glad that he did it, because he's like an actual real actor, he's like a really good actor. And I was like, oh, sick. I love not being in the video. I hate being in music videos. So he had this whole idea. They choreographed it, and with Carrie behind too, who's in she was in that mermaid show. It was called like H2O, just add water or something.
Okay,
they're all Australian kids, so.
She was amazing in that.
She's so great, man. I love her, and I never even got to meet her in person. But like,
oh wow.
But like, obviously this thing's getting made, and I was like sending money as it was happening, and I was just on tour with the Heavy. Like I think we were in the UK or something. So he's like, dude, it's happening. I'm like, okay, cool. We'll see what turns out. Like I always hate music videos, and he showed me the first cut, and I was like, what did you do? This is so dope. And it was like all of our friends did it. Like all of our friends that like. Wardrobe, set design, makeup, like all the people who played the extras were all just like people kind of that are in our like, I don't know, just like kind of our friend group, and everybody just had a good time together. And I don't know, it was great. I loved it.
I was going to say, it's super cinematic, the video. Yeah. If you guys haven't seen it, it's Rough Sweat by White China Gold. Go to YouTube and check it out. It's fucking dope. It's so good.
Thanks,
I fell in love with it. Like there's certain things like that where I can watch them and instantly like I'm like, oh, I really like this. I'm drawn to it instantly, you know. And
Yeah.
that's definitely one of them. Really cool.
Thank you, man.
So the lyrics on both. And oh, another song that I wanted to actually ask about, Rivers of Blood.
Yeah.
That's not on either one of the albums.
No, that's just a new song. I mean, I just write like all the time. That's just some like random song I wrote. I wrote it like kind of like right after I got sober. Like it was one of those ones. It was one of those ones that's like, it's only happened to me a few times in my life where like I literally like sat down, played one chord, and then I know it sounds weird because that song kind of is like, has a lot of parts and goes a lot of places, but like I literally played it front to back exactly how it is the first time. Like I wrote it as I played it, lyrics and everything just like came out. It was like one of those, it's happened like 2 other times in my whole life.
Yeah.
I really like that song.
I love that fucking song.
Thanks, yeah, I'm gonna put it on I'll probably put it on my next record.
Okay, cool. And I literally just heard it today for the first time.
Oh,
and,
cool.
It had a good response too. Like my wife was in the other room and she's like, asked me, you know, what are you listening to? You know, it like,
oh, cool,
it's got
man.
that kind of draw to it. It's a really great song.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So the lyrics on these albums are very frank and honest, really. Many references to drug use. And you said, you know, when you were sober, how long have you been sober?
I've been sober. I got 6 years on September 2nd.
6 years. Nice, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
Thank you, man.
That's awesome. So as far as like the creative process goes behind writing these songs or writing other people's songs, do you find that you're obviously more focused, but how do you make this music now without those elements? Right.
I totally get that. I mean, that's like something that it like makes sense to wonder about that. And I think before I got sober, I wondered about that too. Mm-hmm. Like, because my process used to be so wild. Like I would just like, you know, get like as much cocaine and heroin as I could afford, put it in a fucking pile on my table and sit with my typewriter and just my face I would look like the fucking Pillsbury Doughboy, just like, you know what I mean? Just like, and just writing. And that was just part of it. And then like in the studio, like I was like, part of it was that it was hectic and like dramatic. And like, there's this VHS actually of when we recorded the last record, my friend Jacob, the guy I was talking about from the Brandy Carlisle band, he was VHS taping the whole thing. And I need to get a hold of it. He said he's got it. But like, I would just be like, at one point I was like, and we did it all live in this big theater. That whole record is live and on tape. And like, so I was like trying to get this guitar sound, and I was like in the studio, like ripping apart their guitar pedals that they had there to like build this new sound. But like, I don't build guitar pedals. Like, mm-hmm. I don't know how to solder. Like I can barely unscrew a fucking screw. Like, and then, so I'm like doing that. And then I would like disappear into the bathroom for 2 hours. And then I'd like come out and I would be like talking crazy. Like I would be saying like, oh yeah, I got to go meet this guy outside. And I'd like go outside and just stand on the corner, and they'd be like, he'd have like the VHS tape, and like I wouldn't, there'd be nobody there. I'd just be standing on the corner, and like, you know what I mean? It was like psychotic. Like I was in psychosis, you know? And I thought that was like part of it or something. So when I got sober, I was like, what is going to happen here? But like, honestly, for anybody who like is afraid to get sober for those reasons, like I have not had that experience. I have not had the experience of losing anything. If anything, I am more in touch with like what makes me me. I'm more in touch with like my ideas. I'm more in touch with what makes me probably even strange. You know, like I think to a certain extent, like that's like all those drugs made me write even like more normal in a lot of ways, you know, like, because it does really kind of like imprison your ideas a little bit, like mm-hmm. How far you're willing to go, you know, because you don't have the like, at a certain point you run out of like stamina and like energy, and like I have a boundless wonder and stamina now, you know, like I can, if I want to chase down some stupid fucking idea, like I'll do it for 2 days straight, you know. Sure. It doesn't, and the only thing that's gotten in my way is like that fear, mm-hmm. the fear of like, and it's so funny, it melts away every time I start to make something. Like I have every morning when I wake up, before I sit down in front of my typewriter, I'm like, I can't think of what I'm going to write today.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of what ideas I'm going to have. And it's so stupid because then the second I sit down, I like type a word and then I type another word and then I just get an idea. You know, it's just like, we all have ideas all the time. Our minds move really fucking fast, you know, like,
Sure.
and if you're at all, I think if you have any sort of faith in yourself, like you don't need anything to have those ideas.
Absolutely.
I mean, I guess that's like a really long way of answering that. Like I have had no problems. I have no problems feeling creative.
No, I thank you first of all for understanding what I was trying to ask, because that's exactly what I was trying to ask.
Yeah.
The, you know, listening to both albums, even though one's in the, you know, the high stage, right? And
Yeah. Well, they both are.
Oh, they both
Yeah.
are. So six.
Well,
I thought, 2016, right?
oh, so that record, I made it when I was fucked up.
Okay, I got you.
And I couldn't pull my life together hard enough to release it.
Gotcha.
So I released it. I think I had been sober for maybe like a couple, yeah, like I think a year and a half or something when I actually released it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a great message, really, honestly, because you don't need, you feel like you do need these things to make your art better or whatever, but you really don't.
No, and I mean, for me, obviously, because of the way things went down, like I obviously needed to experience that to be who I am. But like, I mean, also just like the way I am, like knowing my head, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate with this. It's not like I'm special or anything, but I'm just saying, like, knowing my own self, like there was no way I wasn't going to be a drug addict. You know, they're just like the way my mind works. Like I'm so like wildly obsessive about everything. You know, like right, like my kind of most recent thing is, about maybe 2 years ago, I got really obsessed with running, and I literally run 10 miles a day, every day, like without fail. And I leave at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I run in the middle of the night, and I just run through Hollywood, like in the middle of the streets. I have a coyote friend up in one of the canyons, hang out with, but
yeah, absolutely.
I just like, you know, it's like, I can't miss a day. I feel like I'm going to like die or something if I do. So.
Right. I understand that 100%. I had a stint a little while from myself. So I do get it. And you need to find something to be addicted to that's positive. You know?
Yeah. And also I think there's like a certain amount of like working on the little things of yourself, the little parts of yourself, like practicing that kind of like those contrary actions to be like, hey, I'm going to like tip over the edge in this like weird obsessive compulsive way. Maybe like, what's a step that I could take in the opposite direction?
Sure.
You know, and start to teach yourself little things to like, not so you're just like passing your addiction off on other things, like even if it's positive, like, you know, but just like maybe like trying to get a practice to just be less obsessive or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Absolutely. No, that makes 100%. It makes sense 100%.
Yeah.
Back to the albums. The sonic arrangements of both of those albums, they feel very intentional. There's so much range in your voice, and your guitar playing has a voice of its own to me. How long have you been playing guitar?
I started kind of like late actually well, I mean, not like late, but later than a lot of people that I know. I started, I think, when I was maybe 8 or 9. I started taking piano lessons when I was younger. And then I started playing woodwinds in like school band, and I got really into that. I started with clarinet and alto sax, and then I ended up, when I got a little older, I played bari sax, and I really took to that. And then, but yeah, it was kind of always, as soon as I always wanted to play the guitar. Like, it's really strange, actually. The reason I started playing was my dad brought home this, the Eagles Hell Freezes Over like reunion tour VHS tapes, which is like the worst Eagles. But like, I mean, I love it. I love the Eagles. I know that The Big Lebowski made it cool to like hate the Eagles, but I fucking love the Eagles. Yeah. And fuck that. But Joe, I remember seeing Joe Walsh play, and he was and he had this song called Pretty Maids All in a Row, which is also like not the best Eagles song, and also not the best Joe Walsh song. And I remember him playing the acoustic guitar part, and I was like, I want to do that. And I had to, the teacher in town wouldn't take me until I was like either 8 or 9, I can't remember, until I turned some age. And so I started working we were living in orchards at that time, and I started like picking suckers and like pruning in the orchards and like trying to make a little bit of money. And then on Wednesdays I would like pop over there after school, and he'd give me lessons. He was a weird guy. He was like this, now he lives in this kind of like Lutheran hippie town that you can only get to by boat or helicopter, called Holden Village. It's like out, it's like in central Washington, like up on Lake Chelan. It's just like big 55-mile long lake, glacier runoff. It's gorgeous. But he's like he's like the town musician up there, and there's like no electricity and shit. I don't really know, but yeah. So he would only teach me like, it was a lot of like a guitar reductions for like Irish harp music. There's like this guy named Turlo Carolyn, I think is his name. And it was all like waltzing Matilda sounding shit, but I loved it. It was very dramatic and like, sad. I like that.
That's very cool. Would you say you got your style from that? Like,
probably.
Yeah, I mean, you have a very unique style. It's very cool.
Probably. And then after that, I it's all people, man. It's all people. Yeah. Like there was this guy, and then there was my next teacher, and he was this like really cool jazz guy. He had like long, like silver white hair, and he kind of had like the Miles Davis voice, like the kind of like low raspy, like talked really quiet. And he was like this killer jazz player. And I got really into jazz. I got really into like gypsy jazz at first, like Django Reinhardt and stuff. And then I got really into Wes Montgomery. And then there was like the guy that owned the record store / head shop in town that like I used to ride my bike down to, and he would like turn me on to shit. You know what I mean? Sure. He would like turn me on to like Sly Stone and like Sam Cooke, and I remember he gave me the Band of Gypsies record, and I was like I know this is like fucked up, but I was like the rare, like when I first heard Jimi Hendrix, I was like, I don't really like this. Like as a guitar player, it's so weird, but I loved Band of Gypsies. Like that record to me like blew my fucking head out, and I still love it. And but yeah, it's just people. You know what I mean? It's the people I met, and then I went to college. I mean, this is a lot of years, but I went to USC for music school. They have this studio jazz guitar program, and it was like maybe like 10 kids, 10 kids a year or something. And the people I met there, my teachers there, the players there, and they're all still active. Like it's like Jocko Caraco was my roommate. He's the guitar player for like Miley Cyrus and like Kelly Clarkson and shit. And then Zane Carney was another one of my classmates, and he's like he's John Mayer's guitar player, and or the other guitar player, and just tons of shit. I mean, they're all, and like the biggest session player in town right now probably, but like all these guys. And then there was like the bebop guys, John Story from Portland. He was there at the time. He's like the best like straight ahead player I've ever met in my life. And it's just people. Like I would obsess over. And then my professors there was this guy named Joe Diorio, who is like a legend. He's like they used to call him like the John Coltrane of guitar. He was like best friends with Wes Montgomery and played with like Anita Day and Freddie Hubbard, and like, okay, cool. Anyways, I'm just going off on a fucking tangent. But
no, go for it. It's awesome. It's amazing, really. To have all that like music and inspiration around you, and to create something from that, is really what you're saying. So when did you start singing?
Way later. Like I mean, it's still like a relatively new instrument to me, and it took me a long time to like, I mean, I've always sang and written songs, but I would never like, and I was in like choir and stuff when I was a kid, but I would never have like sang a song in front of people. Sure. I have this weird thing. I don't know what it is, if I just get in my head, but like I can hear myself singing out of tune. I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, you have good ears. Like, why are you singing out of tune? And I just always like I always have been like a good sideman. I'm always good at making other people sound better.
Yeah.
And I love that because I love like soaking stuff up. You know, the singers that I've played with in the band, like Kelvin Swaby from The Heavy is like one of the best singers I've ever met in my entire life. Like getting to back him up, getting to write music with him is like, I've learned so much. And same with Kirk from KK, Thomas from Forgive Durden, also the other Thomas. I mean, everybody I played, Jessie Joe, like that girl, I learned so much from her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the singers I play with, like I just, and when I did that first record, when I did the first White China Gold record, I had just decided that I had these songs that I hadn't given to anybody, like songs that I just like realized that I had kind of like cordoned off to leave. I don't know what that word is that I just said, but that I kind of just put in a little box for myself.
Sure.
And I just decided to do them. And I started singing, and I was like, I don't know, like, I guess it's still an instrument. Like it's not ideally how I would have it sound, but it's my voice, and I guess nobody else has it. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
You make it look easy, man. Honestly,
Oh,
it's
really?
so good. It's so fucking
Oh,
good.
thanks.
Um,
I don't think of it that way, so it's like really cool to hear that.
No, I understand that, but it's natural. It's just,
Yeah.
it's like you've been doing it your whole life.
Oh, thanks, man.
So can we expect a new White China Gold album anytime soon?
Yeah. I mean, I have so many songs for it. Oh God, I'm so bad at it. Like I'm so bad at putting myself out, and like I've had so many like start dates for studio times, and then I'm just like, nah, I'm not ready. I want to write more songs. I want to write, and you know, just push it. Or like people are like, dude, you can come in and record for free. Just like come do the record here. And I'm just like, yeah, I'll call you.
Right.
You know, and plus I've been super, you know, I get busy with shit. I get tied up with shit. You know, I've been really, the last few years I've been really busy with Jessie Joe, and I just like, I love that. Like that brings me so much joy, and I love her.
Yeah.
I love her voice. I love her as a person. I love traveling with her. You know, I love the band. I love all the people involved. I love her family. You know, it's like, it's just like, I really threw myself into that. So.
Yeah. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. We'll get to Jessie Joe right now. Great segue. So you're not only the guitarist, but writer and producer, right?
Yeah.
For a lot.
I mean, we do it together, her and I.
Okay. The Dandelion EP was produced with Dan Taylor from The Heavy, and Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols, if that's right.
He played a guitar solo on it.
Okay.
Yeah, he was there he came into the studio for one day and played at the end of the song Dandelion.
Very cool. So how did you get involved with Jessie?
Actually, so it was after I moved to LA from Seattle. I was we were just about ready to start the next Heavy record cycle, which was, I think it was the Hurt and the Merciless maybe record. And then I think it was like 2 records ago. Yeah, 2 records ago. And then the singer Kelvin came here, and he and I were doing like a little, I don't even know what you really call it, like a little showcasey type of thing at No Name Bar. And it was all just like our label and management and stuff. And we were on Red Light management at the time, or the Heavy still is, but Jessie Joe was at the time too. And her manager from Red Light, Luke, brought her out to the show, and she saw me and Kelvin just played duo, and it was like really sick because we were doing these like kind of soul tunes, but just guitar and vocal, and his voice is so like fucking incredible. And anyway, she saw me and was like, and told her manager, I want to meet him or something like that, or I want to play with him or something like that. And then from that we had her open up. We had her old band open up for the Heavy on like a little run that we did around Coachella that year. So it was like, you know, whatever, between the 2 weeks of Coachella. So it's like, I think we played like, I don't know, the Fonda Theater or something here, and then San Francisco and Portland. I don't know what it was, but she opened up for us. And then it was like, I remember after the last day, I hadn't really spoken to her much after the last day. It was kind of like, hey, like when I get back in town from this tour, like let's talk, okay? And then we didn't for a really long time. And then at a certain point, we met up, and I just like, I don't know, I kind of just like fell in love with her immediately.
Yeah, she's amazing. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. She has such a stunning voice, man.
And it's just, it's just different than anybody else.
Absolutely.
Like I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody, but there's like you know, modern dudes have this thing that they do with their voice that's like, I don't know, cool or something. And then like modern female singers have this thing that they do with their voice that's like the female equivalent of that. And everybody does it. And I hear it and I'm like, do something different. Like, why are you doing that same weird, like, I don't even know what you call it. I wish I could like mime it to you, but I
know exactly what you mean.
So embarrassed to try to mime it. Yeah. It's almost like a yarl or something like that. It's like all that. I'm not going to like call anybody particularly out because like I'm not trying to be shitty, but like she doesn't do that. What I'm saying is she doesn't do that.
Right.
She just sounds like her, you know, and I love it when people sound like the way they, like when they talk and then they sing, like I know it's the same person. You know what I mean? Like Lou Reed or something like that. Like those are my favorite voices, not like, you know, not like fucking, I don't know, like some like operatic singer or something. I'm like, you don't talk like that, motherfucker. That's weird.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. You're like born with that kind of personality, that persona where you can sing the way you talk, you know, and that natural born skill right there. There's no way around it.
Everything she does is just vibey. Like any song, like one of the most recent ones that we put out is a song called Die Young, and that was like a song that I kind of wanted to do for White China Gold. Like I had started kind of doing it, and I didn't know anybody would even really like it that much, and I showed it to her and she was like, holy shit, like can we like kind of like rewrite this together? And she's like, I love this. And I was like, of course. And the second she started singing it, I was like, oh, now it's done now. Like, you know, it could have never been me. It could have never been me. It was always for her, you know. Right. And she does that to like any song. She just
I actually downloaded some of her stuff this morning, and that song in particular, amazing, so good.
Thanks.
There's a video for it too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. And yeah, she kills it.
So you were also in Wild Orchid Children, and as you mentioned before, KK and his Weather Underground.
Yeah.
Both amazing, unique, and stylistically different.
Yeah.
So really everything you're a part of spans greatly through so many different styles and influences. So what would you say are your greatest influences throughout your career, besides like some of the people you've met or mentioned before? Like
like my musical influences?
Yes.
Yeah, like just bands that, I mean, like, so, I mean, some of it's kind of stuff. I mean, like I definitely like, I'm such a huge fan. Oh, I see a little picture of Chris back there behind you. That's cute.
Right here?
I love him.
Yeah. Couple. Yeah. He's the best.
Yeah, he's one of my influences for sure. Oh my God, dude, we used to get into so much trouble together.
I could imagine. Some of the stories he told me, nothing about you, but some of the stories that he's told me, I'm like, wow, all right.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
But okay, so like I would say that some of it's kind of stock. Like, I mean, probably my favorite bands in the world are the Rolling Stones and the Velvet Underground. Like it's just kind of, you know, that's easy.
Right.
But like, I don't know, as far as like, you know, I go through like, also like I'm obsessed with like 90s R&B. I mean, like the song Usher, You Remind Me. The song You Remind Me by Usher is like one of my favorite songs ever. I listen to a lot of like 90s hip hop, and I love like Cameron, and I also listen to a lot of like new shit. Like I love Drake.
Yeah.
I love pop. I like that Pop Smoke record. I love Busta Rhymes. I listen to a lot of like West African music. I love like Ethiopian jazz, like Mulatu Asake obviously is like probably like the main name in that, but I love like, you know, I love Fela Kuti, and I love the new shit too that's over from your area. Like I love like Budos Band, anything that those guys do, Menahan Street Band, Budos Band, Antibalas, like anything from like the Thomas Brennick, like Dunham records, whatever. Like that's, to me, that's like my favorite guitar player now that's alive now, is that guy Thomas Brennick from Dak Kings.
Okay.
I just like, I love that whole crew, and the Heavy has gotten to play with those guys a lot. The Dak Kings horns guys,
Yeah,
play with us a lot, and Binky has done some horn and string arrangement for the Heavy too. And then, but like, I mean, like obviously, well, not obviously, but I grew up on a lot of country, like George Jones. My dad is really into George Jones, and strangely enough, like Jimmy Buffett, I'm obsessed with. I didn't understand it when I was younger. I was always like, my dad had the best taste in music, and I was just like, but then also loved Jimmy Buffett, and I was like, dude, I don't understand, how do you get from like Neil Young, like on the beach, to Jimmy Buffett, everybody has a cousin in Miami? Like, how do you reckon those together, both in your taste? And like now I just like love Jimmy Buffett.
Well, you know, I'm glad I asked the question, because it's kind of a generic question, like who are your influences, but you can hear all of that in your records.
Oh, really?
In White, I can, at least, you know, like,
yeah.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in White
Yeah.
China Gold. You can hear like R&B influences. You can hear even, there's some like percussion that's like Jimmy Buffett, like kind of Caribbean, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So that's really cool that you have such a wide array of things you're influenced by, and it comes through in the music. So I'm glad I asked that.
That's
really
cool, man.
Absolutely. So you're working with, you've been working with the Heavy for a bit now, right?
Yeah.
8 years about. For those who aren't familiar with the Heavy, they're a rock band from the UK. You'll definitely know how you like me now if you don't know that song. It's on like every fucking car commercial.
Yeah.
So what's your involvement with the Heavy, and how did that all start?
Well, it was kind of started in like a weird way, where like I was living in Seattle. I had just tried to kind of clean my act up a little bit. There was this weird like thing that went down in Seattle that summer, where all of the black tar heroin disappeared off the streets, and fentanyl came. And like, I mean, I can't even count how many of my friends, people that I know, died that summer. Everybody just was dropping dead, and I had 2 like really bad overdoses. Wow. And the last one was like, Wild Orchid Children had played a I think it was like a Halloween show. So it was like through the end of the year, like it had been the summer before, and then through the end of the year, I was like using it pretty heavily. And I was on my way home, and I parked my car in my parking garage, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna like smoke a little bit more of this. And I fell out hard, and my door was open, and my car was still on, and I had like tinfoil like all over me, and somebody like saw me, and they called the cops, and like the cops and ambulances came, and I kind of like came to a little bit. I had like sweat through this big sheepskin coat, and this is a long story to get where I'm going, but I was like, I had gone completely blind, and I outran the cops, and I got away from the cops, and I think they didn't know what was going on. They showed up, and I had like crumpled up all the tinfoil, and I was like kind of blind, and I was like coming out of the garage, and they were like, "Are you okay?" And I just like ran home. And so anyways, after that, I had to get sober because I kind of got caught. I got caught. The people who own that building were like friends of my wife at the time, and it was a fucking mess. Anyway, So I was like trying to clean my fucking act up, and my friend Tim Delaney, who was the tour manager of the Heavy, and he had been with them for years at that point, and I knew him through a mutual friend that we had who was a studio owner who got like tragically murdered, and it was like this crazy thing, and it brought us together really hard. And so I was like kind of staying sober, but like from hard drugs, and he knew that I was trying to turn my life around, and he was always looking for shit for me. But he was out with the Heavy, and they had just done Letterman in New York. I think they were all over, and it was like a crazy time for the band. Like Letterman had them like play the song twice. Like they played it once, and he came out, and he was like, "I loved that, do it again." And they like got paid twice, and like everything happened and it was like this, it was like, whoa, is this happening? Like, what's happening? Wow. And then the guitar player, Dan, got really sick, like super sick, and he couldn't leave the hotel. And they had this like huge tour starting like 2 days later in Seattle at Bumbershoot Festival, which is like a big festival in Seattle. And Tim didn't know what to do, so he called me and was like, dude, can you learn like 30 songs by the day after tomorrow and show up and do this tour, like leave for 6 weeks with these guys? And I was like, I can try. And I was actually in Portland playing a show with KK the night I got the call. And I was like, fuck, I'm not gonna have a ton of time. So I'm like listening to the music, like trying to like write notes, and then I had like a half a day at home to kind of like run through everything. And then I went and I met the guys at Bumbershoot. I like shook their hands on the bus, and then we just like walked on stage, and I just like played a set with no rehearsals, and we fucking killed it. I have no idea how we did it, but we absolutely killed it. And they were like, the whole time they were looking over, just like, whoa, this is happening. Like, I think they all were thought it was going to go bad, but like, right. It was killer. And there was only one song where it got counted off, and I was like, I've never heard this before. Nobody sent this to me. but they're such a good band. Toby, the keyboard player, just like jumped in, and then I kind of like eared it out, and I was like, oh, there's only 2 chords. I got it.
Right.
But,
wow.
So, and then anyways, so then we did the second date, which was like, I think in Portland or something, fucking destroyed it. Like, it was like, I was like, oh shit, this is a good band. Like, we're killing. And then the guitar player, Dan Taylor, showed back up in San Francisco, and he was like, I'm back, I'm good. And I'm like, okay, cool. I guess I'll just go home. But I stayed that night and just watched the show. And I was like, fuck, what a cool band. Like, I love these guys. And then like after the show, the rest of the guys in the band were like, dude, like you and Dan are so different. Like, why don't we just have both of you? And then, so I did the rest of the tour with them, and I relapsed on that tour also. Really gnarly, but at the very end, but we kind of just started to develop this like style between the two of us. And those guys became like my best friends. I still talk to them. Like, I was just talking to the bass player, Spencer. I was texting with him before this, and they just became my best friends. And then I toured with them from then on out. And then, you know, anytime Dan would get busy with his family at home, like he had a child during that time, like during, you know, the touring time. So like there was a while that like I just toured and he didn't. And then there was some times where like I was really laid up bad with my drug shit. And so he would do some UK stuff and I wouldn't. But then we started writing together. And then I wrote on the last 2 records, the last one heavily, the one before a little bit lighter, and then this next one heavily also. Awesome. And the next one's gonna be fucking crazy. Right before this all went down, me and Dan and Kelvin all got a little house like on the Gulf of Mexico in Florida, like kind of by St. Pete's or whatever, and we just sat there for a week and wrote like 25 songs or something. And wow, they're so good.
Awesome. When is that coming out?
We got to record it first. Those are just kind of demos. Yeah. I mean, the demos are crazy good. Kelvin is like this, like he's a great producer too, and he kind of just sits at home and makes every time he's like, hey, I did more work on these demos. I'm like, dude, just release these. They're so fucking good. Right. And you know, they get sent out to the other guys back in the UK, and they play on them. Chris does drums, and Spenny does his bass, and Toby does all his crazy shit, and they just end up being great. So, but we'll probably all get together in a room. We want to do it here at the studio that I work at pretty much solely. It's called Electrovox, and that's where we did all the Jesse Joe stuff too. And nice. The engineer there, Michael Harris, is like one of the most genius. He probably is the best living engineer. Like that's the best studio I've ever been to in my life. Better than Abbey Road, better than anywhere.
Wow.
Anywhere I've been.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into, before we get into the pictures, you wrote a book.
Yeah, I just wrote a book.
What's it called?
It is called That's How I Get Through Life So Easily.
And do you want to read something from it?
I could, yeah. Why not?
So cool.
Okay, cool. Let me oh
Take
my God. I'll show you what my book looks like right now.
Cool.
All
right, man. This is
so
awesome.
This is what my book looks like. It's done now. It's like laid out, but this is what my shit looks like when I'm like like how I write it. So
Could you imagine if that's how like they sold it in store?
well, I wanted to for a while. My idea was that I wanted to get I the last time I was in Paris, I was in this store and there was and they had these like really fancy caviar tins, but they're like big. They're like this big, right? And they have they're like hand painted and they're so sick. And I was like, yo, what if I could get those made? They were like as big as a piece of paper and just like literally put loose leaf pages like in. So if you lose them, like it's just gone. You know what I mean? I'll read this one.
Cool.
I actually read this one on my Instagram the other day. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. The only reason I'm saying that is just because like sometimes they're hard to learn how to read, but I think I can maybe do this one. All right. This one is called Death Does You the Favor. Something doesn't feel right. Our skin wouldn't be this soft if we weren't meant to press up against each other, in touch and taste and moisture over and over until death does us the favor. I saw the video everyone was posting, the one with the young woman singing about the plague. It's not over just because you're over it, she sang, repeatedly and taunting, the way you talk to a puppy who runs headfirst into a glass door. It made me angry, not because I'm over it or because I think it's over, but because if you want someone to cover their mouth or to get Postmates instead of enjoying a few French fries on the sidewalk, singing a smug little song about how stupid and clueless everyone is, who sees the world a little bit differently, doesn't seem to be an effective approach. Remember death's little favor we were talking about? Well, the weight of mortality is something that also isn't over just because you're over it. It is coming by plague, maybe by overdose or car crash, or maybe just by staying alive for too long. It is coming for you. Do you really want to use your time like this? Through my window, I noticed that the passing of a riderless horse is beautiful and quiet, but the passing of a car with no driver is not. It was harder to understand than it should have been. I went outside because it was damp from the rain, and I knew the slapping of mosquitoes would keep my hands busy. But in the dying light of evening, I just let them bite me, because they also want to live, and I have enough blood for all of us. The only thing that is free to everyone is the God-given right to scratch and itch. I heard that the Jews in Miami all paint their houses blue to repel flies, but the Muslims would rather live amongst the swarms than to have the same color homes as them. I lay in the green grass, my legs crossed like a charred and forgotten campfire, my head bent back, asking all my dead friends in the sky, what do you miss most about being alive? And not a single one of them said, making other people feel stupid.
Dude, this is so fucking cool, man. Is this what like the whole
Thanks.
book is? It's going to be like like a series of compositions like that?
Yeah, so this book, this is actually a piece that I wrote a couple days ago, and it's so funny. I didn't even really think about it when I did it. This is a little teaser, but this actually isn't even in the book. This will probably be either not in any book or not. But it's kind of like that. Yeah, like there's like a it's kind of chronological. Like it's broken up into cities I've lived in, so it's like or places I've lived. So like the first chapter is Alaska, and then it's like Lake Chelan, Washington, and then it's like Kashmir, Washington, and then it's Los Angeles when I was here for college, and then it's Seattle, where it's like my whole kind of 20s, and then it's Los Angeles modern day, and then it's like the end of the world is kind of the final chapter, and that has a lot of stuff like this that's more kind of like bitchy commentary or whatever, but then a lot of it is like I have such insane like story, like I just so much crazy shit has happened to me, you know what I mean, like yeah. I don't know, I have a lot of like stuff, and because when I started writing this, it was very much out of like a necessity for my mental health almost, like I was going through a weird time. I had just had my first like I just had to like end a relationship. I didn't really know what I was doing. I felt myself getting a little bit older, and I was just like, I have some feelings that I'm not comfortable with. And I just started writing every day again. It had been a little while. And I was like, I'm not going to touch my phone every day until after I write a piece.
Sure.
So I wrote for about a year, and then I pared it down to what the book is now. And you know, it's everything from childhood stories that are kind of sweet, like, you know, getting chased off my bus stop by a moose in Alaska, and making friends with moose, and like, you know, being on the sailboat and hanging with my family, and like, you know, the orchards of Central Washington, and like, like losing my virginity and getting drunk for the first time, and, you know, stuff like that. Everything to like, you know, the time I got jacked off at gunpoint by my drug dealer, and like the time,
Wow.
and, you know, like, and like when I got like, and you know, like, and the time when my drug dealer shot this piano player in the stomach in an alley, like in front of me, and like, you know, just crazy shit. Like, I've been through crazy shit.
Yeah.
And you know, smoking crack and fucking like flying to, you know, flying places with, you know, ounces of heroin in my pockets, and, you know, just like, I don't know. It's just,
man. I'm in. I can't wait to read this.
it's cool. So I literally finally, the thing that was holding me up, I mean, besides my own self, was like that I couldn't settle on a cover. And I tried so many other things, and it's funny, actually, I didn't realize it until after I sent it to you, but that photo that you used, that you like wrote over,
Mm-hmm.
I ended up using that in my cover. I was like, actually, after I saw what you sent back, I was like, oh, I actually kind of like this. So I sent it to this girl, Mia, who's doing the layout of the book. And she was like, oh, this is cool. And she kind of laid it into this like kind of classic. It almost looks kind of like an old record cover or something, but she used that photo. So finally we decided on that. I sent it out to management. This woman named, do you know who Linda Perry is?
Sounds familiar.
She was in that band Four Non Blondes. She was
Oh,
singer.
yes. She has a show, right? She has a show on she has a show on TV. She like helps, she mentors people.
She mentors people, yeah. But she's in management. She managed Jesse Joe for a long time, and her and I have written a bunch of songs. She wrote like, you know, Beautiful by Christina Aguilera, and she wrote like every Pink song, and she's amazing, and she's always been really supportive of my like poetry and prose writing. And she was like, hey, if you finish a book, I'll manage it for you. She's like, I'll fucking make some. She's like, she's a badass. She's like, I'll make somebody publish it. And I was like, all right, cool. So I just sent it off to her. So we'll see what happens.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see that come out.
I'm so excited. I started on the second one. So.
Oh, really? Cool. All right, I'm going to share my screen with you.
Love it.
And I'm going to ask you some questions about some pictures. I described the picture a little bit just for the people listening, even though this will still be on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
You should see my screen now.
I see it.
Very cool.
I like that cap.
Thank you. That's my my logo for everything. Everything I do.
I love that.
Thank you. And let's bring up the first picture here. This one I pulled off of your Insta.
Mm-hmm.
It's you sitting next to, I'm not sure who this is.
That is a guy named, well, no, you finish and I'll say everything about it.
Oh, no, cool. Yeah, you're sitting here on the couch. There you have a cowboy hat on. Look, you got some white powder on your face. And sure then you're sitting next to somebody wearing a wig, heart sunglasses, wearing a nice little jacket there. And a dress.
Yes. He sure is.
That's the extent of my description skills.
Okay. Well, I mean, that seems like it kind of sums it up, doesn't it? This is actually a lot less debauched than it seems. This is actually a recent photograph from Halloween this year. This is Wade Riff. He's the bass player of the Jesse Joe band. And we had a little band get together where we all went and got like several COVID tests. And then we went over to Jesse Joe's house and had like a little dress up, like Halloween party thing. I decided to go as a cocaine cowboy. In my past life, this would have been like a very real look. But now that powder is actually gluten-free tapioca flour. And not as badass as it looks, but it was a super fun night.
Yeah.
And Wade looks really good in that dress.
Absolutely.
That's
stunning. Stunning.
Yeah, stunning. He really is.
Yes, I knew that that wasn't real.
Yeah.
And
Although I do have photos that are real that are
I'm
like
sure
that.
you do.
They just look less cool than this.
I'm sure you do. Are you going to put any of those photos in the book? Or are you leaving photos out completely?
There aren't really photos. There aren't really photos, but there are a lot of scans of my pages. So here, let me. I can show you.
Yeah.
So some of the stuff is a lot of the layout is just kind of like, you know, a regular book, but I also like write. I have this trusty little travel typewriter that I take with me everywhere in my suitcase.
Right.
And so when I travel with it, like wherever I'm at, I will write on, like, for instance, like some like sleazy ass like hotel stationery, or like I found all these like old like airmail envelopes, or like these like gnarly ass like Hustler Club centerfolds. So like a lot of the book is scans of like different stationery and weird stuff like that.
That's very cool. So, very, very artistic.
But there aren't any photographs of me in it, really.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Let me come back to the screen here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And there we go. All right. So this is you sitting in a motel room, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And the caption was, you know, how I miss these days of traveling, touring, and things like that. Yeah. So when was this?
So this, God, where was this?
If you remember.
I don't really remember where this is. I mean, obviously we was just on tour.
Right.
This might have been Japan.
Really?
Yeah, this might have been Japan, actually, because I was thinking like the last like long US tour I had, which I think we'll probably get to later, but I had a broken foot. So if my foot is not broken, and this is a recent photo, then it must have been, because the last place I think before lockdown, I think we were in Japan.
Yeah, it was more of a recent photo as far as like chronological on your Instagram. So
yeah.
Maybe that's what I was wondering.
But I think it was probably just on tour in some random hotel room. I probably was either about to shower or had just showered. I don't know. Those are like kind of like those are the kind of like landmarks in a day of touring. It's like, did you get to clean yourself? Did you get to eat something that is not disgusting? That's about it. Hang out with your friends, play some music.
Yeah. Oh, that's very cool, man. So hopefully, 2021 is a turnaround for getting back out on the road and things like that. Who knows?
Dude,
who knows?
Yeah. If not, I'm just gonna go do it my fucking self. Fuck it. Yeah. I'll just tour.
Just like tour people's backyards.
I'll do anything. Dude.
You have a spot. You have a spot here always.
Bar mitzvahs, fucking I don't care. Luncheons.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is actually the photo you sent to me. Thomas is on the rooftop. He's got the guitar in his hand, smiling. What city is this?
This is Manhattan.
Okay. I should know
that. This is the roof of the Rolling Stone building. We were playing this is like a press day. We were doing Rolling Stone. As you can tell, I have a giant leg brace on because my foot was broken.
Yes.
I also love this photograph because I don't get to wear it very often, but this is like my favorite suit ever of all time. It's like a 1940s Nathaniel West, like kind of like cowboy suit, which they never fit me because I'm like 6'5", and cowboys in the 40s were like not as tall as me.
Right.
And this one, I didn't even have to get it tailored. Like I had like the tailor on deck, and I tried it on. I was like, oh, I don't even. And I never put it on, but I wore it for this. and I love it. And this tour was insane because I was I had just broken my foot running. Actually, I was like running down Franklin in Hollywood right here, and this little girl like ran out from behind a car onto the sidewalk, and I went to go like dodge her. She was like running from her dad, like laughing, and I went to go dodge her, and I just like stepped on the top of my foot and broke my foot. And
Oh
then
man.
and then I had to go right out on tour, and it was the heavy doing kind of like the only big touring that we did for this last record, and we had Jesse Joe opening up. So I was playing twice a night, doing double press,
Wow.
and flying a ton. We did a ton of like New York, LA, New York, just back and forth, UK, fucking back. It was so gnarly, and yeah, we got to play. We got to play on the. This is a Jesse Joe press. We did the roof of the Rolling Stone and of Rolling Stone magazine, and
So what,
it was a really fun time.
this is a, first of all, beautiful suit.
Thank you. Yeah, I love it.
And I'm going to skip ahead one picture here because this must be the same day.
Same day, different outfit.
Yep.
On the inside. Yeah, I was on crutches the whole time. I just had like that last, like when I was on stage, I would like throw them behind my amp and kind of like balance on one foot while I played because I didn't want to like sit down or something because that's so gnarly. But yeah, I was on crutches the whole time.
Wow.
So, but it kind of made it nice for all the airports actually because they'll like wheel you around.
Oh yeah, you get special treatment.
You kind of get to skip like some of the long security lines and stuff. I loved it.
Yeah.
And everybody just like loaded all my gear for me and stuff because usually I like to help with that.
Right.
Usually I don't.
Everyone holds the door. It's people are nice when you have something wrong.
Yeah.
So we talked about this before, but I had to bring this up. This is from the video from Rough Sweat.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, what was her name again?
Kariba Hine. And that's Max Carver. Yeah.
Max Carver. And this is right before the very, very shocking ending of this video. I did not see that coming at all. But I really enjoyed it, and I can't push it enough. I really want people to check it out. It's really cool. So I had to bring that up, and I hope they do too. I'm definitely gonna put it up later on.
He is the guy who made that video has been hitting me up like, dude, can we do another video, please? And like, it's the same thing for me, or I'm just like resistant. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what song. I'll get back to you. But he's like, dude, let's just do it. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So maybe there'll be a part 2 to that.
That would be so cool. All right. So next picture. This is Jesse Joe Stark.
Yes, that is
Thomas on the left, playing the guitar. And who's playing the drums?
That is Dan Glusak. He is the drummer for the Jesse Joe band. He's also from Long Island.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
cool.
He was in, it's so funny. I met him when I first started playing with Jesse Joe. We had to put the band together. Like it was kind of her and I, and like we were like, okay, let's put the band together. And management sent people in, and the first people they sent in were Dan, and he used to be in a band called Envy on the Coast. I don't know if you remember them.
Yeah, definitely.
So like I toured with them when I was like 19 years old. Like I was like, oh shit, I know you. And then the bass player that walked in was Julio from As Tall as Lions, who is also from that whole.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, fuck, dude, I've toured with all you guys. Like we were, we hadn't seen each other in a decade, but we were buddies. So like it kind of like worked out. So that was the band for a little while.
That's crazy. That just brought me back to, I grew up here. So
yes.
Envy on the Coast is from here.
Yes.
And I saw them at a place called the Crazy Donkey. It's not here anymore.
Oh my God. Dude, I know that with the mirrors.
Yes.
Dude, I hate playing that place because you have to stare at yourself while you're on stage. I played that place before.
Yeah,
I think I played it with them.
Did you play it with them, or did you play it with Saves the Day? Because I know you mentioned Saves the Day, and I saw them together.
Okay. I played there with, oh God, maybe it was Saves the Day, but then also I think Forgive Durden played there with that was my first band. That was my like the Fueled by Ramen band. It was like my first band out of college, and we played there with the Almost, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Envy on the Coast. It might have been a different show than the one you saw. But.
Okay. Maybe. Well, there's a possibility, and this is really strange because this world is really small, that we met at that time because I was really into that scene and I always hung out with the people around.
Dude,
Especially places like that because there was no like backstage. It was like you just go out in the parking lot.
Yes.
So yeah, that's crazy. Very cool.
That's so crazy.
Okay. We got the Heavy, right?
This is Heavy.
This is I took this picture. This is like way down the page, so I'm assuming that this is a little older. You got Thomas here with the Heavy. Mm-hmm. So do you remember this at all, or is this?
I do remember this. Yeah, Lo, the main backup singer, took this. She was taking a lot of film photographs on this tour, and this one's really cute. This is these are my guys. That's the entire. Who is that in the back? Oh yeah, that's Bob's trumpet player. So good.
Zoom in a little bit there. There we go.
Yeah, I could recognize him from. He looked different from there, but yeah, I actually just played with. I had both the horn players that they live here in LA, so I had them come out and play on the Jesse Joe record, on unreleased stuff. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Well, I'm really looking forward to hearing the new stuff. I know the last album, The Suns, right? That's what it's called.
Yes.
Really good stuff. So I'm really excited to hear the new stuff. Yeah. I came, this is a learning experience for me, really doing this show. It's like,
I bet
I get to, I get put in touch with people such as yourself. And sometimes I hear people and sometimes I don't. But the most exciting part is learning about something new. I mean, dude, White China Gold, man. I'm playing that like all week.
Thanks, man.
And it's going to continue to be played. Like, I'm just.
That means so much to me because I just
really seriously. Speaking of which.
This thing.
So this is the problem. I figured it out. When I heard this a few weeks ago, when I first got in touch with you, I looked up your name. I didn't know White China Gold at the moment. So I looked up Thomas Hunter, and this is what comes up. Now, obviously, this is not you.
No, that's me.
That's you. You look a little different,
Yeah.
But so this album, the first one is under Thomas Hunter. The second one is under White China Gold. Just so you know.
I don't know how that happened. Yeah.
And for anyone else listening too, if you want to find both of them, you have to look up both names, Thomas Hunter and White China Gold.
Yeah.
That was the point. That was the point I was getting at there.
Yeah, I know that guy has plagued me. That other Thomas Hunter has plagued me since the beginning. I always get like, he always gets, his albums get listed like along with mine, like ever since that first came out.
Yeah.
So anyways.
I was like, wow, at first I was like, holy shit, man, that's a really like artistic cover, like just take some random dude and put him on your cover.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wait a minute. No, this isn't him. So.
No, man.
All right, man. Well, listen, I got one more question, which I ask everyone. It is on a scale from 1 to hell fucking yeah. How stoked were you to be here today?
Dude, so fucking stoked, bro.
Yes. Awesome.
I loved it, man. So great. Thank you.
Awesome, man. Thank you. Yeah. Hell fucking yeah. I really appreciate you coming on. And let's keep in touch, man. Because
absolutely, dude.
I'm not only a fan now, but I'm a friend. And
I love that. Same, dude.
Anytime you'd love to come back on, I'd love to have you. And
I'd love to. Next White China Gold record, next book. We'll do a little thing.
The book thing. I'm really excited about the book too.
Yeah, I'll send you one.
Very cool.
Very cool. Yes, send me your address and stuff. I'll send you one when they get.
Will do. Absolutely.
I got merch coming out with them too. Sweatsuits.
Ooh, I love sweatsuits.
Yeah. Put it on. Read a little.
I wear them on the show.
Yeah, I love that. All right, brother.
Thomas, thank you so much, man.
Enjoy
your new furniture.
Thank you. Yeah, I got a new bed. I'm gonna go lay down.
Ah, sweet. And hang in there, man. Stay safe.
Brother,
all right. Much love.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Later, dude.
All right, Thomas. Peace.